DDO Players News is brought to you by the Table of Ultimate Gaming Kickstarter. Are you in the market for a brand new gaming table? How would you like a table you can customize to your specs? That's right, the Table of Ultimate Gaming is on Kickstarter now, with Kickstarter table packaging starting at $599 for a 3x5 table, and 4x6 tables also available. Each table comes standard with AC power and USB power outlets in two locations at either end of the table. Each table also features an adjustable height play surface. You can choose from a shallow depth play surface of 1.5 inch, or you can go for the deep play surface for your dungeon crawls at 3.5 inch. Also, very table heights available as well. Coffee table height, traditional height, and countertop height. As I said, the Kickstarter is up and running now, and it funded in 5 minutes. You can find the link to the Kickstarter in our show notes.
Good day, everyone. This is Finally Needles, and welcome to DDO Players. We take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey, now everybody, how's it going?
Hello there, Drac, and welcome back.
That's right, we're back.
Yay!
I hope you missed us. We're back. I appreciate people sticking with us because I had to had some personal issues to attend to. But we're back now. So yay!
What? Not a convention to attend?
We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Spoiler alert: no, I didn't get to go to Gen Con. Yeah.
Okay. Diseases always have the weirdest times of coming up.
Exactly.
They never think to be considerate.
That's right.
Right.
Or real life.
Let's see what's in the news then. And Cordovan posted something about sentient weapons?
Yeah, there was a thread over in the forums entitled Acquiring Sentient Weapons. And a user put up, and he said, assuming sentient weapons are the next big, quote, thing, unquote, how will they be acquired? People will want an appropriate type for their character. And he suggests perhaps a solo quest for level 30s only, the lost weapons of an ancient hero, that type of thing. And then he had some other suggestions. So the thread kind of went on. Well, finally, Cordovan chimed in. And Cordovan says, quote, we'll have a lot more on sentient weapons as we get closer to the release of Ravenloft. But they will be high-level items acquired through the Ravenloft content. And their personality will be separated from the rest of the item so you can select the item you want and the personality you want. At its core, we are using an augment-like system for both personality and benefit. So that sounds good. That's all he said. And I know on a couple of the streams, people ask him for more information. He didn't give any more. That's all he said. They're really not ready to talk about it yet. My guess is they're still developing that and testing it internally or whatever. But yeah, so it does sound like you're going to get a weapon and then you're going to get like an augment, quote type thing that you can choose from, and that will pick what your sentient weapon the personality and the benefit will be. So I like that. It sounds like you're going to have a choice. It's not going to be like a random number generator thing. Thank God. So we'll see.
All right, and they said that it'll be through high-level Ravenloft content, so I presume that means epic Ravenloft.
People kind of pressed him for that in live streams, and he didn't answer that either. But I would guess probably, but I don't know, because they had already said Ravenloft is going to be level 10 to 30, but as he did say, though, in that forum post, it's going to be a high-level thing. So, yes, I would think it's going to be you're going to have to run the content at 30. I don't know if you're going to have to run it epic, but at least you're going to have to run it, I think, at level to be able to partake in these sentient weapons. Because it sounds like, or at least I'm assuming, this is going to be our quote-unquote end game for a while, is you're going to be trying to get these weapons and then get the quote augment systems for them. So this is going to be our end game. So yeah, it's going to be higher level, but I guess we'll find out when they're ready to talk more about it.
Right, then let's head into the DDO Chronicle issue 247, where those look like demons.
They are demons. And Gumsking in the chat is saying that executive producer Sutherland did say, yes, it is going to be the end game. I had thought maybe I had heard that, so yes. So back to our Chronicle, though. 247 Chronicles. That is crazy. That is a lot of Chronicles. We do have our community spotlights, and I love this. A Very Bad Guild hit the magical episode 100 on their YouTube video series, so watch over and check that out. I will admit, sadly, I have not checked any of these out, so I need to do that. It sounds interesting just by the name, though, of Very Bad Guild. Then DDO Cast had the review of Update 36. So click over and check out the latest episode for DDO Cast. Damsels of DDO had a recent episode as well, and they headed into Valek's Mausoleum. So check out the adventures of the damsels over on their page. Mickey is continuing writing about her raiding experiences. And Bachelor Gore continues his DDO Let's Play. So click over and watch the latest videos from Bachelor Gore. And Voodoo Spice is tackling Reaper in a new series. Sins of Attrition is what he's running on that one. And Mary runs Retrieve the Stolen Goods on Reaper 4. So click over and check that out. So lots of Reaper action in the Chronicle this time around. So if you want to watch people play Reaper, you have plenty to choose from. And of course, we have a Chronicle comments, as always.
Yeah.
The question this week is, which gem is best?
Which gem is best?
That's kind of an open-ended question, because what exactly are they considering a gem? That would be the first question.
Well, I would presume they mean that those things that drop from boxes that you sell to merchants.
Well, see, there's that, or there's also the other gems that drop. There is like the 30x gem.
The things that you put into slotted items?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about those.
So, yeah, so it's like, So I'm going to go with the obvious answer from me. I'm going to assume that's what they're talking about, and I'm going to say the ever-elusive Bloodstone.
The ever-elusive Bloodstone.
Which I will never see in my life, because it never drops.
I guess it so doesn't drop that I have no idea what it even is.
It's found out in the desert, actually.
Ah.
It used to be like back in the day, that was like the thing like everybody wanted. Now I don't think people really want it that bad anymore, but it used to be that was like the thing to have. It goes into your trinket slot. As I said, it's found in the Sands of Manectrian.
Oh, it's a trinket item.
Yeah, it's you get Seeker +6 on it is what's on it. But that used to be like the thing to get, because that was back in the day, that was the best way to get Seeker, and then plus it was Seeker 6. But now I don't think people really care that much about it, but it still doesn't drop. It still has a crazy low drop rate.
Well, I think don't trinkets in general have a crazy low drop rate?
Yes, they do.
Because I don't think most of my characters have ever seen a trinket.
Some of them drop fairly well, but yeah, it depends what they are. And we all know my RNG lugs, so yeah. So we all know whole world. That works out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to say the Bloodstone just because, blood. I mean, come on.
Well, I suppose that's...
it's obvious. And Gumsking is saying, whatever gem is in my bag. Nope, wait, that didn't sound right. We also have our official screenshot of the week. Shinzari plots deception in the marketplace. In the 330th DDO screenshot of the week, nice shot of an airship above the marketplace, nice frame of the moon. Not sure how they actually got that frame that way, but awesome screenshot over in the Chronicle. And that's pretty much it for our 247th issue of the Old Chronicle.
Then what's for sale this week? Anything nice and juicy?
There is some good stuff. The Mirror of Glamoring, which is always great to see that on sale, 30% off. Also, bypass bypass timers, cosmetic outfits, and hats and helmets, 30% off as well. And our free sample of the week is a Guild-renowned elixir, which is a awesome free sample, because anything to help you get guild rep is always good. And that is a medium guild renowned elixir. And the coupon code for that one this week is Fun with Guild. Fun with Guild. FUNWITHGUILD. And that is through August 31st.
Then let's enter into the site news, where DDO players special table of Ultimate Gaming interview. Did you interview the table or the manufacturer?
I did. I had a nice long talk with the table. Long episode with just a bunch of me asking questions and then dead silence. No, we talked to Patrick from Wood Robot, who, of course, is the manufacturer of the Table of Ultimate Gaming. It was a great interview. We found out about the table, all the specs for the table, kind of what they're hoping to do in the future with the table if the Kickstart is successful. And as of right now, it's very successful. As I said, it did. Kickstarter went up, and they did fund within 5 minutes. Currently, as of this recording on Monday evening, they are 1,480% above their goal. So, yeah, Kickstarter's going pretty good for them. So you can listen to that, find out a little more about the table, and see if maybe it's something you want to kickstart if you're in the mood for a new game table.
So do they answer what makes the table ultimate?
They did, actually. I did ask them that question, and they answered. But see, you're going to have to listen to the interview to find out.
Aha.
How's that? Finally.
So therefore, you'll have to watch Interview with a Table.
Exactly. Like I said, very long interview. Table doesn't talk much, but, you know.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, if he did it from the table's point of view, it becomes Interview with a Vampire.
Right. Well played, Pilot.
Yeah. Let's see what's coming in from the dungeon. Gen Con 50 breaks attendance record.
Yeah, and I wasn't there. But yes, a lot of people were, like a lot of people, which everybody expected this to happen. But Gen Con did report the attendance record, or the attendance for the 50th anniversary of Gen Con, and the turnstile attendance was 207,000 people. That is a lot of freaking people. And that was a 4% update above 2016. So yeah, 207,000 people attended Gen Con. And then that was not the only record that got broken, though. They also used all of Lucas Oil Stadium for the first time. Last year, they just used a little bit of it. This time, they used it all. And then they also used Baker's Field, or Bankers Life Fieldhouse for the concert. And that set a record because they had never held an event there either. So just lots of records. And that was actually, the concert had an attendance of over 5,000, which is the most tickets ever sold for a Gen Con event. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff happening in Gen Con. And of course, the Visit Indy said over $74 million was brought in to the indie economy over the 4 days.
Yep, that's it. If they're going to break that record, they're going to have an event at the Brickyard.
Exactly. I know. You keep saying, but it might happen.
It might happen. Yeah.
It might happen the way Gen Con's growing. Every year it's growing, so we'll see.
And there is a new WotC survey available, and you're thinking it may be a hint of what's to come?
It very might be, because there is some interesting questions on these. If you're not familiar with what happens, WotC every month puts up, at the end of the month, they put up a survey. And usually what happens with these surveys is the most popular answers out of the surveys, they usually tend to try to incorporate into D&D 5e at some point. That's how we got a lot of the character changes and stuff that's coming with the Xanthar's Guide to Everything book. A lot of that started out from a survey, and then they did the Unearthed Arcana on it, and then people play tested it, and then they tweaked it, and now it's going to be official. Well, this time there, of course, is a bunch of questions about characters and what are your favorite characters to play, what are your favorite race, class, yada, yada, yada. That's all the boring stuff. But when it gets good there is a couple questions about what is your favorite D&D campaign setting. And what was funny is normally you can skip survey questions if you want. Not this one. This one you are required to answer. And your choices are Dark Sun, Dragonlance, Eberron, Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, Planescape, Ravenloft, Spelljammer, and other. So, and then there was another question about related to different campaign settings. So they're really asking about campaign settings. So a lot of people are speculating, does this mean maybe we might get a Greyhawk campaign? We might get a Dark Sun or Dragonlance, which I don't think Dragonlance will ever happen because of the rights nightmare issue, but that's a whole other...
Yeah. Well, I noticed, though, that some of them, though, already have things published for them in 5e. For example, Ravenloft, so that would mean are people looking for more stuff of those campaigns if those are set as the popular ones?
Might be. I don't know. I guess it depends. And this could just be just them trying to throw us off for a lot of stuff. But I just found it interesting because they usually don't talk about campaign settings that much. And I know a lot of people have been asking for Dark Sun and Greyhawk, and they've kind of just played coy about it. Well, now they're asking about campaign settings. So could it be anything? It could. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it will. I guess we'll have to see what happens.
So perhaps they're trying to see, okay, how many people are really interested in Dark Sun?
Right. Or Spelljammer. I know a lot of people want Spelljammer. Like Ninth Fun in the chat right now is saying, fingers crossed for the Spelljammer. Even though it's never going to happen. Yeah, I don't think Spelljammer will happen either, but that'd be awesome. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. It'd be interesting. I would like to see him go into Greyhawk, though. I would just like to see him get away from the realms for a while. I know we just had the Curse of Strahd, which was in Ravenloft, but the way they did it, they kind of said, well, you're probably still in the Forgotten Realms, but you're in like a pocket dimension. You don't really know where you're at. Yeah. So I would like to see him actually say, okay, we're going into Spelljammer, or we're going into Dark Sun, or we're going into, like Eberron or Greyhawk. And you're actually going to be there. You're actually there. You're not still in the realms, but you're in a pocket dimension, or you get sucked into this somehow. You don't know where you're at. You think you're still in the realms, but all of a sudden you're in Spelljammer, you're in, Dark Sun. No, I want them to do a whole new setting, which I've never understood why WotC is so caught up on Forgotten Realms anyway. I mean, I like the realms, don't get me wrong. I love Forgotten Realms. I like the history of the realms. I like playing in the realms, but give us a little diversity, WotC. Come on.
Oh, well, let's then see what's on the tabletop, and we'll begin with, how about a little trip to France?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I hear it's nice.
If you could understand what the people are saying.
True. And they do have that giant tower there, too, that you could go, see. But how about if you go via train?
Via train, all right. I heard that they have a pretty good rail system in France.
I have heard that, too. But let's build our own rail line in Ticket to Ride France. Yes, another Ticket to... How many Ticket to Ride games can they make? I mean, seriously, good Lord.
Well, if I remember correctly, isn't this the 5th map set in addition? We've had, I think, at least 2 major standalone editions and 2 minor standalone editions, I think.
I think that's right. 5 or something like that.
Maybe 3 major standalone. Because, okay, you have Nordic, you've got the Germany one, and I think there might be another minor standalone. But okay, there are several of them.
Yes, there's a lot of Ticket to Ride. There's a lot of trains you can build. And this is an expansion that is going to challenge the players' existing habits as they're going to add something this time. Yeah. You are going to be able to pick up passengers this time. Yay for passengers.
Well, passengers as in Markland, or as in the version of passengers that's in the new German version.
I think they're using the German version rules for the passengers. And another weird thing about this, which this makes no sense to me why they're doing this. This is going to be a double-sided board. You can either play in France or you can flip the board over and you can play in the Old West. Like, okay.
But that's actually following the tradition of the last one, which had the UK on one side and Pennsylvania on the other.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah. That way they could give you two maps on one board to make the whole thing more attractive.
So as I said, yeah, this is an expansion, so you do, or it's going to require the original ticket ride to play. The French map, designed for 2 to 5 players, includes 58 destination ticket cards, 2 bonus cards, and 64 track pieces. And then you flip that over for the Old West map, also designed for 2 to 6 players, 50 destination ticket cards, 2 bonus cards, and 40 white train cars. The suggested retail price on this is going to be $44.99, and this is going to be early October when this is going to be available at Essen and Europe. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I cannot read. The expansion is going to be available at Essen in a few weeks, Europe in late October, and then early November we'll be able to get it here in the States. Once again, Ticket to Ride France, $44.99 MSRP.
And note that Ticket to Ride France / Old West will require a copy of either the baseline Ticket to Ride, which is Ticket to Ride USA, or Ticket to Ride Europe. And you need the trains from them at the very least because you've got because Ticket to Ride France comes only with the white trains. The idea there is it adds a 6th player because these are the first boards that allow for 6 players. Before the maximum number was 5 on all the previous maps.
But again, there's just a lot of Ticket to Ride games.
There are a lot of them, that's for sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy Ticket to Ride. It's a really fun game to play, but good Lord, how many different train tracks can you make?
Well, ever heard of a game series called 18XX?
That's very true. Very, very touche, finally. Touche.
That's right. And Fantasy Flight Games announces Star Wars Legion. Build, command, conquer.
And people freaking lost their minds about this. Yes, this is the Star Wars game everybody has wanted. It is a Star Wars tactical miniature combat skirmish game that everybody in the world has wanted. Well, now Fantasy Flight is bringing it to you. And as you said, you build, command, and conquer. Star Wars Legion features fast-paced movement, streamlined combat, and initiative mechanics, inviting players to become commanders of clashing armies in the war-torn battlefields of the Galactic Civil War. 33 unpainted plastic miniatures, including iconic characters like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, will form a blank canvas for any player to create unique armies, fight for the Rebel or Alliance side, or even the Galactic Empire, and experience epic Star Wars battles right on your tabletop. That is a mouthful. This game is planned for the release in the fourth quarter of 2017, date unknown as of this point, and MSRP unknown as well. But I am going to go out on a limb and say it'll be probably $129.99. I would say, because that is a lot of minis, and they have the Star Wars license to pay for, so probably $129.99. But I guess we'll see when the MSRP is announced.
Right, and we'll also see how quickly the first expansions come out.
Exactly, because this is Fantasy Flight we're talking about. And Ninth Pond is saying, you had me until unpainted miniatures. Yeah. But then again, this is Final Fantasy. This is Fantasy Flight we're talking about. I bet they might maybe have the option to buy some painted miniatures because cha-ching, cha-ching, Fantasy Flight. And speaking of Star Wars, this is actually not in the show notes yet. I didn't add this into the show notes. But this Friday is Force Friday number 2, which is what they're calling. That is when a lot of retailers are going to bring out the new Star Wars toys, action figures, yada, yada, yada. for the new Star Wars movie that's coming out. Fantasy Flight, just a little bit before the podcast today, did announce they're going to announce another brand new Star Wars game on Friday. They didn't give any hints about it. That's all they said. Tune in 4th Friday for a new Star Wars game from Fantasy Flight. So yeah, Fantasy Flight cashing in on that Star Wars money.
Whew. Well, it looks like they've got a game for everything except for Fallout now.
Well, they got you covered on that too.
Oh.
Because, surprise, surprise, Fantasy Flight is bringing out Fallout the board game. And you might be saying to yourself, but Drac, wait a minute. I distinctly remember you talking about a Fallout game coming from Modifius Entertainment. And they are also having a Fallout game. The two games are absolutely different. The Modifius game is going to be a skirmish miniatures type game. Okay. The Fallout, the board game coming from Fantasy Flight, is they are also going to have minis, but this is more tuned in to the video games themselves. Fantasy Flight did announce this right before Gen Con. They are going to bring the post-nuclear adventure world of Fallout to the board game. This is going to be based on things you did in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. And they did say they are going to have, which I hated that they used this term, but I knew it was coming because they talked about Fallout. They will have DLC, downloadable content, available for the game. I hated when they said that word.
Okay. I was wondering just before you said that on whether or not this was going to be something similar to Mansions of Madness, which would more literally have DLC.
Yes, and they did not say if there's going to be an app for this, but my guess is yes, they're going to have an app for it. But yeah. So basically what they're going to do is they're starting with Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 with some parts of that, and then they're going to have expansions, which they're going to call DLC, that will expand the game even further. And you are going to be working together to actually, go through the stories that you did in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. The game board itself is using hexagonal pieces that you put together. They showed off some of this, and it was at Gen Con. Again, alas, I was not at Gen Con, so I couldn't see this. I was really interested to check this out. But it sounds pretty good, though, from what I've read about it and some of the preview videos I've watched, different people put up on YouTube. It's a 1 to 4 player game, and from savvy wastelanders to stout members of the Brotherhood of Steel, players will range out across the modular hex-based board that matches with one of the several scenarios and settings of the Fallout video games. And then they did say they are going to include the special VAST system, which if you're familiar with Fallout, that allows you, like, if you want to shoot something, you can use the VAST system and just train in on the arm or the leg or the head, whichever you want to do. That's going to be included. They didn't exactly tell you how they're going to include that, but that is included. And yes, dog meat, the dog, is included. So yay, we're getting dog meat in another Fallout game. So that's awesome. Because if you've ever played Fallout, you know how awesome dog meat is. But look for this Q4 2017 as well. MSRP not available either. But I have heard rumors that this has been spotted on a couple of the retail game sites, like Cool Stuff Inc., I guess, has it for pre-order. And people said it was like $59.99 on there. I looked on Miniature Market. It's not up there yet, and it's not up on Amazon. So I'm assuming your average price is going to be about $60 for it. But yep, Q4 2017, yet another Fallout game, this time from Fantasy Flight.
Whee! Now, when we head into what's on the screen, I noticed that we have gone from a video game being turned into a board game. Now we've got a board game being turned into a video game.
We do. Amazing how that worked out. Yes, we're talking about Blood Bowl 2, the Legendary Edition, is upcoming. It's going to release September 5th, actually. It's going to be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. But if you have pre-ordered, you can get it on the beta right now. And they also released a nice little teaser video that showed you what was included in the Legendary Edition. Because you do know Blood Bowl 2 has been out on PC for a while now, but much of the Legendary Edition's content, as I said, is now available in this beta. You can try your hand at coaching an existing new roster of teams. The new teams include the Amazons, the Mighty Ogres, the Vampires, and the Elven Union. There's also 2 new solo modes. There's a challenge mode and an Eternal League mode also coming in the Legendary Edition. And if you already have Blood Bowl 2, you can upgrade to the Legendary Edition. Or if you have not bought into any of the Blood Bowl games yet, you can just buy the Legendary Edition outright, and that will come with the original Blood Bowl 2 as well. So you can experience the original and then hop into the Legendary Edition. But as I said, this is launching September 5th, and if you do pre-order right now, you can get it on the beta, which is still running.
And Asmodee Digital has announced 11, that's right, 11 new digital games. And I see a couple I'm interested in.
Yeah, me too. There was a couple of these that got me excited. And this seems to be like the big thing right now is to take your board game and make it digital, which I guess makes sense because, let's just be honest, how many of us have phones? Almost, I think everybody probably has a phone, and most people have smartphones. So we play games on our phones, or we all have tablets. We play games on our tablets. So why not take our love of board games into the digital realm, which Asmodee Digital is doing a good job of this. And as you said, yes, 11 new games are coming out. And the first up are the ones that are just slated as coming soon. They didn't say when soon is, but I would say soon as soon. That is Ticket to Ride, The First Journey, Carcassonne, and Smash Up. And those are going to be available for Mac, iOS. Let me rephrase that. Ticket to Ride First Journey is going to be on Steam, Mac, iOS, and Android. Carcassonne, Android and Steam. And Smash Up, Steam, iOS, and Android.
And it's good to see Carcassonne finally coming onto Steam because it's been avoiding that for a while.
Yeah, I never did understand why. Because Carcassonne, I would say, would be easy to translate digitally.
Oh, it's been translated digitally for a long time. They had a version years ago. I'm trying to think what system I had it for. But a long time ago, I had one. I can't remember, though, what system that was on, and it was short-lived. I think it was just a PC game. Then they had... Later on, I think they still have an active iOS version of it. There is a Windows 10 version of it that you get from the Windows 10 store, but Steam is one that has been around for a while. Apparently, it's been out on iOS, but apparently not for Android, if Android's new, too.
I guess I didn't realize there was that many versions of Carcassonne Digital. I mean, I did know it was on iOS, but I didn't know it was everywhere else, so okay.
Yeah, I know, as I said, that the old PC one was a long, long time ago, and 15 years ago or something like this, and I think it stopped being available a couple of years after it was out. And then, as I said, I have seen one for Windows 10. I don't think I've actually played it, but it is out there. I don't get too many games from the Windows 10 store.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever been to the Windows 10 store.
Yeah, I've been there one or two times. I don't think I've actually bought anything there because the only thing I remember 100% sure is I downloaded there was the Windows 10 version of Minecraft, but I still played the Java edition anyway, so I haven't even used that all that much.
Well, there you go. And then they did announce later on in the end of 2017, they're bringing Avalon to Steam, Milesborn to Steam, iOS, and Android, and a new text adventure game set in the much-loved Catan universe called Catan Stories, and that's coming to iOS and Android. I'm not too excited about any of those. I don't know about you.
Well, let's see. I remember back in the days of, I'm trying to think, I think the system was one of those things just before iPhones came out. That some of what you had before. I forgot what those devices were called that you had before they started having smartphones.
Oh, oh shoot! I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and I'm
you remember
totally.
Palm Pilots, for example.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm gonna sound.
Palm Pilots and Blackberries, those types of things. And the Palm Pilot. So I do remember having a version of Mule Born on there one time, but
Gums Gang in the chat was saying Telegraph. Yes, play by Telegraph, Gums Gang.
All right. And what's the third set?
And then later on in 2018, no date exactly given, they are having a ton coming out. Zombicide, Scythe, Terraforming Mars, Bananagrams, and Gloom. So I'm excited to see Zombicide finally. Yes. Shut up and take my money.
But they haven't announced which of the platforms yet.
No, they haven't. They didn't say. I would assume Zombicide I could see coming to Steam and iOS and Android probably. Scythe I could see coming to Steam. Terraforming Mars, Steam and iOS probably. Bananagrams I would say probably going to come to all because that is not that big of a deal. Gloom is probably going to come to all. Gloom's awesome too. I love Gloom. So yeah.
Now, Terraforming Mars, if I remember correctly, that's one that I've avoided because of table space. So it's something that I may get, or I'll probably get the Steam version for that one, since I won't have to worry about table space like I would have to worry about if I had a physical version.
Yeah, you do need a big table to play Terraforming Mars. So yeah, that's coming later on 2018. So yeah, so Asmodee Digital pumping out the digital edition of games. And if you want more information, you can head over to the Asmodee Digital page, which I have linked in the article that is up on DDO Players.
Then let's head into our weekend gaming. And Drac, what have you been doing in the last 3 weeks? Busy with real life.
Not much, actually. I did get a little bit of gameplay in, but not a lot because, real life and all of that. But game-wise, I did manage to run the new quest on my Shader Kai. Of course, that's the Third Time's a Charm, Graveyard Ship, Records of the Past, Strike Back, and Desire in the Dark, and no drops. So, yeah, we'll just move on. And then otherwise in DDO, I did play with you a little bit. We'll let you talk about that. Other video games-wise, I checked out Conan Exiles, which is a survival game that you have to craft, you have to build. It's your basic survival game, which is all the rage these days. And now that is going to be a review coming up soon. And, of course, that is set in the Conan universe.
Okay, it's a survival game in the... Why do you need the Conan universe for a survival game?
Why wouldn't you want the Conan universe in a survival game? Because it's Conan, and it's awesome.
Oh, right.
Spoiler alert for the upcoming review. It's awesome. Yeah, I enjoy that a lot. It's very hard, though. Very, very hard. Very bloody, very adult themed, I'll put it that way. Of course, it's at the Conan universe, so that makes sense. But yes, so look for the review of that coming soon. I'm going to play it a little more before I actually do the review on that. And also, speaking of reviews, I played a lot of games for review. This one is going to be coming soon as well. Had to wait for it to actually release, though. The title is called Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And, of course, this is exactly what it sounds like. It is a clicker game. If you are familiar with a clicker game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't do much but click around on the screen. But it's set in the Forgotten Realms. So they do have some well-known Forgotten Realms characters that you can unlock. Yeah, this is a new game that is currently in alpha testing. There was a alpha beta that you could get into, but now I don't think you can get into the beta anymore. They will probably, they had said they will probably open up some more slots, but I actually got a press key to get in. So I can get in anytime right now. The people that are in alpha can't even play it, but the press alpha, they're letting people play all the time. So enjoying it. It's one of those silly games just to kill time because, like I said, it'll basically play itself and then you can just go and click stuff. So if you know,
when you say a clicker,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. So
okay, basically what it is you stand at the left-hand side of the screen and there is monsters that come in. Your characters will kill the monsters because you build your characters up to where they will fight for you.
okay, so sort of like a
You can play the whole game that way. You don't have to do anything. You can just let your characters do whatever. But if you're bored and you want to go in and click on the monsters, you can help your people kill the monsters quicker by clicking to kill the things. And then you have to click to pick up gold and stuff like that. And then the gold's used to buy upgrades for your characters.
sort of an Orcs like thing, or
Yeah.
but not quite, because I know in Orcs you have to be a lot more active than just
Right.
passive.
No. These are, I can't think of any of the other games that are there's one called Clicker Heroes that's really popular. It's that I never understood the whole clicker genre of games. It's basically a time waster is all it is. But since this one's set in the Forgotten Realms and D&D, there's kind of that draw for me. So it's fun. I had a lot of fun with it. So we'll see. Like I said, it's an alpha right now, and there's plenty of bugs that I found. I've crashed out a lot. But, of course, alpha, you're going to have that. So we'll see, once it gets in. But you'll see, and then I'll have some gameplay video on my review so you can see it. But it's fun. That is coming out from Codename Entertainment. I will link the site up if you want to find out more information on that and sign up to maybe get into one of the next alphas or when it goes into another beta. And then I played a little game called Blood Bowl 2, the Legendary Beta. So yes, I did get to check some of that out. Spoiler alert, it's awesome. Of course, Blood Bowl is awesome. Then again, I think the AI cheats. It's very hard. They cheat, but that's okay.
Oh, right.
And going back to the clicker games, Ninthbot is saying they were all developed by mouse companies to get people to break their current mouse, so they need to buy a new one. I think you're onto something, Ninth, because you do click a heck of a lot in these games. But yeah, so I did get to check out some of the Blood Bowl Legendary Beta. Once again, that is for review, so look for that soonish as well. And that one is launching September 5th. I think. So I should have my review up fairly soon after that, I think, because I played quite a bit in the beta for that. And then did play a little 7 Days to Die, not much. I just did one of the Blood Moons we had coming up. So that's really all I did. Like I said, real life kind of took over. So hopefully you did a lot, Pine Leaf. What did you do?
I don't think it's going to be what you define as a lot.
Don't let me down, Pine Leaf. You're our only hope.
We'll begin with what we did together, and we went back into the Caneth Manufactory, got blown to bits, and yeah, that was a fitting name, and Schemes of the Enemy. And if I remember correctly, that was a rather headache for the boss fight in there.
I think it was. I can't remember that one.
It actually, wasn't that in that room where we had to go up and down these platforms?
Oh, yes, it was. Yep. Yeah, it took us a bit to figure out the whole mechanic of that fight, but yeah, it was. And that took freaking forever.
Yes, forever. And in House Beneath, we decided to storm the beaches. First, we tried this at Epic. We were level 20. So I thought, all right, let's try this at Epic, because that's why I chose it, because, okay, level 20 quest. We were level 20. So we went in, and bam! We got... In this place, you don't need Gatling Ballistae in order to get killed. Just one shot from a ballista kills you.
Did I not tell you, when you went in there, I said, these ballista are insane in here.
They are that.
You found out really quick.
Yep. So therefore, in order to unlock one of the others, we decided to go back in at normal. Now remember, we got level 20 characters, and normal is about level 7 or 8.
I think 8 is normal.
Yeah, so therefore we went in and pretty much trounced the thing, of course, because we better or...
Yeah, because if we failed on normal at level 20 and a level 8 quest, I would just say, okay, we're done. I'm done with DDO. Thank you very much. That would just be sad.
Yeah, but someday I think we should take our level 20 characters and have some payback against Zuggit
we still need to do that because you actually need to finish the temple.
Yeah, that's right. Because I still haven't finished that quest.
No, you haven't. We need to do that.
And I'll still probably get one shot knowing my history with that.
Maybe.
Yes. And then we did Bargain of Blood.
And that we did do at Epic.
Yeah, at Epic. And I think we had a couple of res needs there, but it wasn't nearly as bad as Storm the Beaches was.
Right, yeah. There was... And, overall, I'll be honest, overall, I didn't think that was as hard as what I thought it was going to be. There was a couple of the bosses were, pretty tough, and then there was a couple times when we just kind of got overrun with enemies, and it was a little close. But I was just happy I could actually find the traps and disarm the traps. I was really worried about that, because I thought, we are so screwed if I can't see these traps. But luckily, I have... equipped my character wisely, and so far I haven't had a problem with that on the epic level. So I guess we'll see as we progress on. But so far so good on our epic runs.
And then in Lotro, of course, I was continuing along in my treks in Mordor, and that's where I was spending a lot of my time. And I've also been spending a lot of time in Minecraft, where I started what I'm calling the Chamber of Ordeal. And the idea there is I took a zombie spawner, and you know how people usually build zombie farms? You got an idea there where they put these insta-kill things in there or channel them to a location where you could hit them or whatever?
Yeah.
I decided to do nothing like that. What I did is I built a chamber about this with each of the 4 elements, and you go through each of these 4 chambers, going in through there. And now, of course, you've got these zombies spawning in all over the place as you're going through here. And the object is for you to go in the entrance and then get all the way through to the exit and try to do that without getting killed. Now, the plan was that the challenge was to go through there with a wooden sword and no armor, maybe with a shield. But I've been doing my initial trials there with armor on, iron armor, enchanted, and with an enchanted sword, and I was going through in there, and I was getting beat up. And in fact, I've gone through a couple of times where I finished with only 2 hearts in there, so I'd hate to think what's going to happen when I finally test this without any armor on. I have a feeling I'm going to be whipped into a pulp, which, fortunately, if I go in there in that state, I'm not going to be having anything important on me. So if I get killed, it's not going to be a major loss. But yes, it is a bit of a challenge. Now, it does include things like a bit of a swim test, for example, jumping up in trees, a maze, and a fire area, since it's the 4 elements in there. So you do have all that going in there. And the tests I put in there weren't all that bad. It's not that bad of a maze or anything like that. It's probably because in a 7x7 area, you can't do much of a maze in that small of an area. So it's a pretty small maze, pretty easy one. But when you add the zombies in there...
So basically what you're saying is you're trolling yourself.
Well, I'm hoping to invite a couple other members of the server in order to take a trial with it. But first I need to test it out and see I have it tweaked properly before I start bringing in others in order to do their own test runs. And see and challenge them, how can you get through without getting killed? And yeah, I don't suggest that you go in there with your level 100 character, and maybe you should use your levels for some enchantments first before you...
I see.
We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to support DDO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of DDO Players News. And I heard a rumor that we have an iTunes review.
We do, and it is another 5-star review. So thank you very much for that. That is from Haffiel. and it is entitled Fun and Informative. This podcast has an easy vibe and a pace with the co-host Draculetta and Pineleaf going through the news of DDO, their play experiences, and antidotes all along the way. They vary the podcast with guests, and they branch off DDO with game reviews for games which might intrigue a DDO player. Thanks to Pineleaf and Drac for keeping DDO Players news going. I continue to enjoy all of the episodes. So
thank you very much. And we don't have any emails, though. But if you want to send us one, you can send it to podcast at ddoplayers.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf at Pineleaf News. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News. On the first and third Friday of each month at 11:59 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. And every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. You join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And if you're looking for a new gaming table, be sure to check out our sponsor, the Table of Ultimate Gaming, and who are now having their Kickstarter. If you need to get a new gaming table, how about one of their customized sets on and however you want it. Kickstarter table packages start at $5.99 for a 3x5 table, and 4x6 ones are also available. AC power and USB power outlets in 2 locations. Each table features an adjustable height play surface, and you could choose a shallow depth surface of 1.5 inches or a deep play surface of 3.5 inches. And you could also choose between 3 table heights, coffee table height, traditional height, and countertop height. Is that for the people who like to stand?
It is, yep. And they did talk about it in the interview we did.
Well, and the Kickstarter is up and is running now, and it was funded in 5 minutes. And you can look for the link in the Kickstarter in our show notes. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf News reminding you to quest responsibly.